It's a grind video today, guys, so I brought myself back home to the beautiful Berg Hill and set myself up on the practice green. My chipping's normally not too bad, but it's been real shabby lately. So what I've done today is picked out 3 of my favourite YouTubers. That's Rick Shields, Peter Finch and Me and My Golf, and I've taken a tip from each of those guys that I'm going to trial out today. Now, I've not tried any of these approaches before with my chipping game, but something needs to change because it's not been great, to be honest. So the plan is to hit 20 balls for each technique. The first one, I won't name who's done who, but the first technique is going to be stiff arms, creating a Y with the arms to the club, and we're going to lean forward to put the toe actually in the ground. That's meant to pop the ball up and give you a nice little flight to stop you chunking the ball. The second approach is all about rotation of the spine, so really going through the shot, nice and symmetrical with your twisting to create the elevation. And the third approach is a bit more wristy than the other two, but it's actually ignoring the ball and your pure concentration is on brushing the ground. So 3 totally different techniques, all from the top guys. Let's see how we get on. Now, you might not be able to see where I'm aiming today, guys, because they've taken the pins out due to COVID. But on this chipping green, I've gone and stuck my putter right in that hole there. So that's where everything's meant to be going. Emphasis on meant to be. Okay, so the first techers, we're going to go for this toe approach. So this pro said you need to lean forward a little bit, put the toe into the ground and hold further down the club. So when you're doing your swing now, the toe shouldn't get stuck in the ground. You should actually be kind of leaning towards a bit of contact with the toe. That'll give you that pop out. And short. He also emphasises on keeping the stiff arms, creating a Y, so you're very much in that Y position and you're stiff throughout the swing. I'm going to swap to my 54 here because this ain't cutting it. Okay, so as we come up to the green, I've got a little grouping of 5 here that are too short. To be fair, I hit a couple of them really nice, but they've just hit the wrong side of that bank and just rolled straight off. But it is a results game, so they're dead. I hit a grouping at the top here, a bit long. They were all, I think all those were pretty much thinned, to be fair. That was bad contact by me. But then, from 20 yards out, I'm trying to aim for landing something within 2 yards. Well, finishing it within 2 yards. I've got a grouping of 10 balls here, all within 2 yards. This one's borderline. Let's give this a little measure. 1, 2. I'll give that. I'll give myself that. So I've got a grouping of 10 that I'm happy with. So all in all, that stiff-armed Y-shape toe in the ground has been good for me. 10 out of 20 within 2 yards, I'm happy with that. Okay, techers number 2. So this pro really focuses on rotation of the spine. It's all about getting through the shot. I feel like you've got to be a bit more confident with this because this is more more movement, more control needed. But I can really understand when you think about your spine being the focal point, how that really helps the balance in your swing and the symmetry. I can understand that. I'm going to use 54 degree again. It's the exact same shot as the last one, just the technique's different. Now this pro, he talks about having the ball slightly backward in your stance and having your hands slightly forward, not exaggerated, so that you're chunking into the ground. He just wants you slightly forward so you can rotate and brush the ground a bit.
Keep thinking that I could have done something, but now I'm left with an empty heart. No making amends, no waking up beside you and holding you till we forget it all. Oh, baby, how could I know there was no second chances? Like dominoes, my life got really scattered. You couldn't keep the door shut, and now the frostbite's creeping in. 'Cause I've been stone cold since you left me here, so come home. Why won't you reappear? Things that I said came out totally wrong. Can't speak of the truth when it's tainted. I fell into a big black hole. It got me stone cold. You got me stone cold. Got me stone cold. You got me stone cold.
Lip the last one. Let's go see how that went. Okay, so again we're going for that 2 yard distance to be acceptable. That was rubbish and that wasn't much better. But I actually really like this approach. This technique, this little bugger, he lipped out. But this technique, I really like this. It was a bit more like, I felt like I had more control. I felt like technique was obviously a bit more flowy. And I'm a physio by trade, so I really understand how he's talking about the spine, and I could see my body working that way. We'll give this one a measurement. So we're still looking for that 2 yard bracket. So 1, 2. I'm going to give myself that. Just about as far out as that one on the first round. So everything within you, go this way. 1, 2. So you two are no good. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You're no good, you're no good, and you're no good. 14 out of 20. I'm really happy with that, and that one, I'm angry with you, really angry with you. But the rest of you, I'm really happy with. 14 out of 20. Like I said, I felt like I was more fluent. I had to think a bit more about how I was moving because my range was bigger on the movement. So I don't know if that made me concentrate more, but that just felt more natural to me. And the scores are pretty good too. Number 3. So I'm going to use my 60 degree now. I'm going to change and I'll show you why. This pro, they are talking about ignoring the ball per se, using the bounce of the club and the contact coming from making sure you're under the ground. I guess that this one is mainly aimed at those of you that thin it and focus on getting under the ball, getting the ball up in the air and stopping that thin. Personally speaking, this is me. I would thin more greenside chips than I would catch fat, definitely. It's a bit different in the winter when the ground's a bit wet, but on average throughout the year, I will thin more of these than chunk them. So, like I said, I'm going to switch to the 60 because I feel like getting under the ball, you're really going to get that loft anyway, and by adding a few more degrees on, get it up really high and focus on it not running so much, more stopping. So I'm going to be a bit more aggressive going at the flag, so I'm switching to my 60 for that more height and less roll. This probably suits me more, I would say, on paper, because I'm a bit more of a wristy player, and with this brushing technique, it comes across as I'm not sure if this is correct or not, but this is what I took from watching their video, is it comes across like it's more of a sweep, so that it emphasizes the wrist movement. So this is right up my street. Let's see if I can beat 14 though. I'm not too sure. That was a good number. We'll see. Well, I don't know if it's the best technique yet, but it's the first sink. Yeah, not bad, not bad. It's close between that one and the last one. Let's go see. Okay, so the promising thing is there's none short for the first time. So these are short, but they're not real short. This is going to be close. There's that one in there. Okay, so you can't be, you are, okay, 2 yards this way, takes me right up to these two. I'll have you, but not you. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, not you. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and one sunk that I'm giving myself a double pointer for. 16 for that one. I am very happy with that. 16 out of 20 in 2 yards. Buzzing. Right, that's all wrapped up. So to summarise, I don't think it was, first things first, I don't think it was any coincidence that I got better the more balls I hit. So each technique seemed to get a little bit easier, but I was probably more warmed up. I probably should have hit 50 balls before even attempting the first lot, to be fair. But I think it's obvious to say that all three pros know exactly what they're on about, and their content is well worth checking out, because even the first 20 balls I hit, I literally didn't hit any balls before that, and I got 10 out of 20 within 2 yards, so I was happy with that. And I must reiterate, my chip-in has been poor lately. It's normally a strength of mine, but lately it's been nigh on diabolical, to be fair. I would say probably from me naturally, I'm more of a wristy player, so that third technique, I really liked that because it allowed me to play within my natural feel, and it allowed me to attack the pin. I used a 60 degree, which again is another fluctuation. The other two were 54s, the last one was with a 60, but it allowed me to go and attack the pin and hit more confidently, which I always feel if I am trying to hit the ball more confidently, there's less chance of me duffing it from being a bit more reserved with it, if you know what I mean. But that second technique, I really understood that with the whole spine movement, rotating around through your shot and all that. I got that, and I would say that obviously the last one I had the most within 2 yards and I sunk one, but the second technique, I felt that was the best grouping of shots, so that definitely won sort of like the most amount within 3 feet rather than 2 yards. So I like all three. Like I said, those tips came from Rick Shields, Peter Finch and Me and My Golf, so go check them out, because I am nowhere near good enough to elaborate on that sort of stuff and give my own tips. I was just trying out some pro tips to see what I felt was best for me, and if I had to choose, I would say the second one. The rotating, the spine rotation, I just felt like it made me focus on getting through the ball. I was more confident with my contact, and it was the best grouping. And that last one lipped out. If that had sunk, it would have been a no-brainer. It definitely, that would have been my favourite. But all three are far better than what I've been chipping like lately. So go check those guys out for more, and I'll catch you next week.